Sure. Tikkun olam is an expression that is often used in the Jewish community to define what we see as an obligation that we have as a people, an obligation to help repair the world, that the world is imperfect, and that while we are not obligated to fix the world, we are obligated to participate in fixing the world. And so each of us looks for ways to help repair the small tears in the fabric of our world, which is somewhat imperfect, and work in the nonprofit world, work at a foundation where we can give money away for important causes, is just a little bit of a step in helping to repair the small tears in the fabric of the world. But I found at a later stage in my career that I was looking for something more meaningful, some more meaningful kind of work to do. And most people have a midlife crisis and buy a Porsche, and I had a midlife crisis and went to work in the nonprofit world. But I have a deep connection to my faith, and when the opportunity came to run a community foundation that both had the potential to create great and powerful things in a community to help people, but also connected to the values that were very personally important to me, it was just the perfect opportunity. It combined my interest in philanthropy with my experience on the investment side in Wall Street and connection to my faith. It was actually all those things wrapped up into one. Sure, I grew up in the Midwest, in Minnesota, a suburb of Minneapolis, St. Paul, which is why the Connecticut winters are not at all daunting to me. They're very familiar to me, very comfortable for me. I went to a small liberal arts school in New Jersey called Drew University, which was I had never seen before I walked on the campus. My parents thought I was crazy, but nonetheless I went there. And Donna went there. So Donna and I didn't know each other when we were at Drew, but we have that personal connection together. And it was a wonderful place for liberal arts education, for all of us to understand the great value of arts and social sciences and mathematics and science, and it gave you a really well-rounded background and experience. And I actually have two very diverse graduate degrees as well. I have a master's degree in urban planning, which most people don't know, and I have a master's degree in business. And the business degree came when I was working on Wall Street. But this is actually a third career for me. My first career was working at the city planning department of the city of New York as an urban planner. So that's one of the reasons why my connection to buildings and the historic implications of buildings is actually quite rooted in who I am as a person. It's a little bit of my background and my training as well. But the buildings are the home for the work that we do as an institution.
Right.
And so it's impossible to do work without the space that's needed to really do those things. And so it's not just a physical structure. It's an embodiment of the work that we do as institutions, and that's exceptionally important. If you don't have space that is suitable for the work that you're trying to do, you can't achieve that work. So on the one hand, the physical presence of the building is very, very important. But on the other hand, I would say we're talking about history here. We're talking about history of a community, history of a people. The connection to the historic relevance of the building does more than just provide space to do important and valuable programming. It connects us with our past. And the one thing we know for certain is that there are very important lessons from our past that are embodied in the work that we do today. And that building represents more than just a physical space. It represents a people who cared about a community and a set of institutions, and who always want to be remembered for that great caring. It's a part of our past, it's a part of who we are, and saving that building is also a part of saving our past. That's really what's important about it, in addition to making sure that it's the right kind of programming space. I live in Bloomfield, Connecticut, with my wife and my daughter, who's 23 and working here in the community. And we actually moved here from Fairfield County when I took the job. And it's been a fantastic, welcoming, warm community. And I would say, as I do to many people as an outsider, what this community has that many other places that I've lived doesn't have is a community. And I know that seems trite, but the truth is, when I talk to people in the community, they care for each other. We talk about each other. We talk about what's happening in the community and why it's important. We support each other in times of difficulty and in times of joy. And sometimes when you live in a vast, suburban community with big homes and great distances between the homes, you don't always have that sense of connection to other people or sense of being a part of something bigger. And I'm a big believer in community, that what this country has always been about, what the Jewish people has always been about, are small enclaves of individuals who are there for each other in times of great need and in times of great joy. So community is kind of a big deal for me, and I very definitely feel it here. We talk about it a lot here at the foundation. The foundation recently crossed $100 million in assets under management. The Jewish community of Greater Hartford is only 30,000 people. So 30,000 people, $100 million in assets built up over time. It's an extraordinary indication of generosity. And there are buildings all over town that people from the Jewish community have supported and have endowed and have built. And the generosity of this community is remarkable. And it's one of the things that makes a community. We support each other to do the things that we need to do to be a better community. Is that we've engaged all of our community, more than 25 institutions across our community, in a campaign to endow our community, to build a financial footing to secure the long-term future of all the institutions in our community that we care deeply about. And we're working very closely with Charter Oak to expand the capacity of the institution, to build its endowment, to teach the lay leaders and the professional leaders the most effective way to raise money, how to build relationships with people, how to communicate the great work that Charter Oak is doing to all of its donors in ways that will assure the long-term financial strength of the institution. That's probably the most important thing that we do today working with Charter Oak. We have people who care deeply about the community, and oftentimes they don't know quite how to put their wealth or their affluence to work to make a difference. And a really good fundraiser, a really good development person's perspective is not, I'm here to ask someone for money. That's really not what they're there for. They're there to help facilitate a conversation about what's important in the life of this person. How can they make a difference in the world with the resources that they have? So the conversations are actually much more personal and much more meaningful, both to the solicitor and to the person who's being asked. It's not so much about money. It's about how do you make a difference in the world.